Now the blanket will be roughly the length of your spine, all the way down to your hips. Now, once the balls are in place, we'll be physically moving the body over the balls. So I'm going to invite you to start at the bottom end of your blanket and we'll slowly work our way up. So we're going to start at the top of the spine and work our way down towards the lumbar region. So again, the balls being closer to the first layer of fabric will give you more feedback. But if it feels like too much, you can always go into deeper layers of the fabric so it won't be as intense. But again, the balls will be side by side, and then just place them either in the first flap or the second flap of fabric. And again, we're placing the balls right at the bottom, and we'll slowly just move our bodies up. So by the time we get to our lumbar spine, your head will be towards the top end of your blanket. Have your block handy because it might be nice to bring with you along your journey, but we're going to want to place the balls now right at the top of the shoulder. So where we just were at the base of the neck, we're going to be just right underneath of that, I should say. So go ahead and start to lower yourself down, and you may have to kind of wiggle the first time to kind of find the place. The balls generally, because of their size, will allow the spine just to fall right in the middle, so it should be okay. But if something doesn't feel right, feel free to adjust accordingly. Now, if this feels like enough to release the traps, I invite you to stay exactly as you are. If you're not getting a whole lot of feedback, it might be nice to take your block on its lowest setting and slide it underneath your pelvis. And that'll just put a little bit more body weight cascading into the balls on the traps, which might help release a little bit more. And if you still don't have a lot of feedback, another option could be to also take the arms overhead and let them just rest onto the floor. Or again, if you really want to move, you can always sweep the arms down by your hips and overhead and just keep flowing that movement. But what we really want to find in our practice today is this sense of releasing tight or stressed areas in the body. So if that's movement, feel free to move. And if it's staying still, invite that into your practice. You always have the breath to come back to. And we're going to journey down the spine in the thoracic and lumbar regions, just like we did in the cervical. It'll be small little steps at a time. So notice where the balls are now along your spine. If you had the block underneath your pelvis, I'm going to invite you to remove that first. And then we're going to come up just a half an inch. So the balls are going to be kind of right in between the upper portions of the shoulder blades. So not right in between the middle of the shoulder blades, but still somewhere between the apex of the shoulders and where the shoulder blades start to come together. And it doesn't have to be overly specific, so don't worry if you're a little lower or a little higher. Again, this may be enough, or you may like that block placed back underneath your pelvis. So maybe try both, see what feels more nourishing to your body. And then again, maybe gentle movement, or allow yourself to stay still. And then if you added the block underneath your pelvis, once again, I'm going to invite you to remove that first. And we're going to move up again about another half inch. So picking up the body and starting to slide yourself up. The balls will now be right in between the mid shoulder blade. So it'll kind of feel like your chest is extending towards the sky. The shoulders are cascading downwards, and the rib cage is cascading the opposite direction down. You feel this lift through the chest. If you really want movement here, it can be maybe nice to cross the arms, like giving yourself a hug, extending them out to the side, and then switching which arm on top, which arm on bottom. Or maybe you just allow yourself to rest in stillness. And keep taking those nice, deep, relaxing breaths. And if you were moving the arms, I invite you to bring them back into stillness. And we're going to move the body up again. And this time the balls will be right underneath the shoulder blades. So if we're wear sports bras, it'll be right at the base of that sports bra. It's right underneath the scapula and where the ribs start to connect there. So right in that mid-thoracic region. And now it might feel more like an extension through the ribs and maybe a deeper arch in the low back. The shoulder blades might feel more connected with the floor now than before. And arm movement might not affect so much here, but if you do still want to move the arms, feel free to take that hugging variation. Notice if there's tension in the jaw or the neck that we're bringing in that we can let go. And once again, we're going to move, and now we're going to be right underneath the rib cage. So as you pick yourself up and start to move up, aim to be right underneath the ribs, kind of in that kidney region. Moving closer and closer to the lumbar spine. And we're going to move down in 2 more different spots. So the next spot will be in the upper lumbar region. So again, just moving up maybe an inch. And hopefully with the blanket assisting us, the balls have stayed in place along the spine. Just releasing these erectors that attach our hip to our neck. Get really tight and hold a lot of tension and cause issues along the spine. And then we'll find one more place in the low back, and feel free to go anywhere in the lumbar region or closer to being in the hips if that feels better in your body this day and what you might need. Anywhere beneath where you just were, that might feel really helpful. I like the deep curve of the lumbar spine, but maybe your hips need a little bit more focus. That was a big focus of our class last week, so if that helps, maybe check that one out again. And take another deep breath here. And then slowly roll off onto one side and press yourself up. You can